Forest have just beaten Manchester United 2-1 at the City Ground as they record successive wins in the Premier League for the first time since January to go 5 points clear of the bottom three. And the City Ground and the Forest faithful, I mean, that ground will be bouncing even right now, right? And for hours to come.
It certainly will. I mean, when you consider that he's taken over from Steve Cooper, who was respected greatly at the football club and by the fans, not sure what the reaction to him walking through the door would be, because of the last manager being sacked. Fans have got behind him and he's delivered 3 performances and 2 brilliant results for the football club.
For Manchester United, this is a very different story, Peter.
It's another disappointment. It's another big disappointment, I'll put it that way. You're hoping when you see a result like the Aston Villa result, that was only on Tuesday, so 5 days ago, that second half performance could be, some of that could be brought into the game today. And right from the first minute we talked about it, it's not there. You know, it was a really, really bad first half. It was an awful first half. I'm then hoping, because the first half against Aston Villa was so bad as well. And then it was a different team that came out. And he makes a substitution. I think it has a really big effect on the game. Yes, I said this before the break. I can understand that you want Scott McTominay on, but not for the guy you take off. The guy you take off, young Mainu, is such a good player, and he played all right. He was controlling that part of the pitch very, very well, and there was no need to make that change. Where you have other players on the pitch that are doing absolutely nothing for the team. I question the substitution and what that signals to the rest of the team, and it does. So you want to make up a substitution at half-time. Why do you want to do that? Is that to save yourself from in the second half so you can make the 3 breaks? You don't have to make 2 and 2 and 1 or 3 at one point. Is that it? Or is it to make an impact? You want to make an impact, well, then you have to leave impact players on and take un-impact players off. And he didn't. And I think that had a very big effect on the game.
When you go in as a manager at half-time, if you feel as though sometimes you've got to make a substitution to get an impact, get a turnaround of mentality in many ways, when the substitution was made and he's took a young kid off, who I didn't, like Peter, didn't think was doing particularly badly. I thought he was doing all right. For me, it sends a bad message out. He's the one bright spark. I'm outside Old Trafford, but he's the one bright thing over this last month or so that's give the club an uplift, isn't it? A young player coming into the team playing particularly well. And you take him off, it sends a message out that I've took the easy way out a little bit, I think. That's how I see that.
Actually, interestingly, when that half-time change was made, McTominay coming on for Mainu, we did touch on the point off air about how that could have left United a little bit light in the defensive areas of their midfield. And let's have a look at the first goal from Nottingham Forest. And when Nicolas Dominguez received the ball, was this quite telling?
Well, that is why I say that it had an impact on the game. Because when we see the goal here, it looks like it's really well played and well crafted by Nottingham Forest. But when you look at it here, you got Scott McTominay probably in an okay position, and then you got Bruno. You know, Mainu would have been there. Bruno should have been back supporting Scott McTominay and marking Dominguez. You can't leave a player that unmarked in that area. And that was my point in the impact that it did have. That confusion. Where is Scott McTominay's position when he comes on? Where is Bruno then going to play? What's Christian Eriksen's job there? Where is he supposed to be? See, this is all confusing for me as a player, as somebody watching, but also for the players, which was obvious throughout the second 45 minutes. But when Mainu is playing, he's there. That's his job. He stays there. He's young, but he has that discipline. So I don't understand. This is what I'm saying. I don't understand why you take that player off. Because that was not the area that we were struggling in.
Yeah, but Peter, we've got to give Forest credit here. That was well worked, wasn't it, from your perspective?
Outstandingly well. It was good football, but you do ask the question. 2 players received the ball in the Manchester United box with no one within 4 metres of them, potentially.
Yeah.
But you've got to give credit. Fantastic. Montiel turned, great turn, rolled the ball across the face of goal. And no panic, a good side foot finish.
But Manchester United did get themselves back into the contest, and they capitalised on what was a nervy few minutes for the Forest goalkeeper, Matt Turner.
It comes of absolutely nothing. Turner's just made a very weird mistake just a minute before, and he makes another one here. Now, there's a lot to do before this is a goal. But that pass from Garnacho, so he does well in getting the ball off this. He reads it well. Rashford's putting pressure on him. He reads it with this pass here. I mean, to see that pass. And there's still some work to do for Rashford there. And it's a nice little side foot into the corner.
Garnacho's done brilliant on 2 occasions now. He's had the presence of mind, having turned the ball over, to find a pass there. But he's put a message on the pass to Rashford. You can take it first time if you want, or take a touch. The ball's in your court. And it was, I mean, all the best finishes in the game today and the best efforts all come side foot, nice and relaxed, guided into
finishes.
the goal, composed.
Yeah, including the winning goal from Nottingham Forest perspective, from Morgan Gibbs-White. We need to give Matt Turner some credit here, though, don't we, Stuart?
Well, he's been under the pump. I've watched Forest a fair bit over the last 6 weeks, and he's made a couple of howlers with his feet and with his hands, but he's done well there. The real problem I see here, when you get in counter-attack 5-on-5, the urgency, as Peter mentioned earlier, from 5 of the players at the front end of the team to get back and goal side. I always think if a team not doing particularly well, the great rule of thumb is how many players have they got in the opposite half when that ball hits the back of your net? And if you've got more than one, you've got a problem on your hands.
Yeah.
They've had 3 or 4. But I've got to say once again, brilliant pass across the face of goal. The appreciation of pass and the weight of it was brilliant. And then just guide it into round the player. Use the player as your guide. Great finish.
And you know, to add sort of salt to injury there, it's Morgan Gibbs-White who scores. I'm not sure he should have been on the pitch by then. I think there is a case, and I don't understand VAR here. There is a case that he should have got a red card where he was booked. There were
successive challenges.
Three. First, we see them here. The first one is that little kick there, and then the foul, and then this one here. That's 3. You know, when we see it a little bit closer, look at this here now. That kick, that one, and then this one here, that's a yellow card. But that one for me is a red card. And I don't understand why VAR are not looking at that and see, whoa, this is really endangering a player. It's Johnny Evans, look at this from here. You know?
Okay.
And then this guy ends up scoring the winning goal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wonder whether that will be one of the main issues that will be addressed by either of the managers.
Eric, moments after the end of the game, what's your first reaction to today's performance and result?
The result, that's clear. That's disappointing. You're losing 1-0, you get a comeback, and in that moment I think we were quite good in the game, and you're waiting for 2-1, and then in a counter moment we gave a goal away. So it was unnecessary, this loss. But I think already we lose the game in the first half. We were not energized enough. We didn't invest enough to create chances.
That's 2 matches now in which you haven't played well in the first half. You played really well in the second half against Aston Villa, not so much in the first half. Again today, a slow start. Forest weren't great either in that first half, but is that a worry?
I thought against Villa we played well in the first half. Only we conceded 2 goals from set plays, so I don't agree with you. But today, I think we should invest more in the first half. In the second half, it was much more lively. It was much more dynamic. We speed up the game. We created chances. Before the 1-0 from them, we had a great attack over the right side with the finish from Diogo Dalot on the post. So, but in the first half, we should have created such moments, and we didn't.
20 league matches and you've lost 9 of them. That doesn't make a great reading for Manchester United fans.
No, we know that, and it's below our standards. But we know also the reasons. So in January now, players will return. We're looking forward to that, and then I think our squad and our team will be stronger.
Well, to put it in some context, it's the first time Manchester United have lost 9 of their first 20 games of the season since the 1989-90 campaign. What did you make of what Erik ten Hag said just then?
It's interesting. He's got to say something, right? And of course, he's got to protect himself a little bit. He's also going to put messages out to his players because they will listen to that. He's definitely not talking to our benefit because he's saying things that are obviously or clearly not what we think it is. So he can't say that he played well against Aston Villa, in the first half because he didn't. We all watched the game; it wasn't great. But of course, he's got to say something to his players that I'm happy and we're a little bit unlucky. I don't think they were unlucky today. I don't think so. I think it was a poor game all around. He's also using. He said this on many occasions that I've got players coming back and the squad will be better. Yes, I get that, and I am looking forward to that as much as anybody else, and I'm sure it will be better. But you've managed in the Premier League, but that is the reality of the Premier League. You're losing players to suspension, injuries. It's a long and tough season. So I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can use that as an excuse.
What's your view from the outside as to how United go forward from here?
I think Peter's point was very valid in what he said about the manager sends out messages in what he says. He said we weren't energised from the start. Now, they had a chance to be energised when the ball went back to Turner in the early minutes and Rashford didn't get after him like he did for the goal.
Yeah.
When Rashford chased Turner down, he gives the ball away cheaply, it ended up in the back of the net. I don't know whether there's a reference to that. The people that can energise your team are at the front end of your team.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
defence can't.
Yeah.
The front end of your team have to with their energy.
OK. That's where we're going to have to leave today's Matchday Live. Stuart, Peter, great to see you. Hope you've enjoyed it. Well, if Nottingham Forest came up with a few answers this evening, there are a few questions for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United.